make it out the hood, they say you Hollywood. How dare you niggas tell me that I got it good? Gotta check and treat it niggas like I'm Robin Hood. When it was time to stand up for me, see nobody stood. And I was looking at you niggas, all the ones I fed. Had me grinding all them nights when you was going to bed. And if you think I owe you something, nigga, go on ahead. Treat you like I never knew you, put it on your head. And I got Poppy on my line like when you coming home. My mama see it in my face, she know that something wrong. Body dropping in my city all summer long. I don't bail, but I still gotta keep something on. So I can't let him take my life. You might get left, you make that right. When he got left, it wasn't right, but he was trying to live that life. I call up cooler with that.
G5Jefftv, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button as you come on in. I got two special guests on the line. Manager extraordinaire out of Iowa, my man Mike Patterson. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, G5? Thank you for having me back, man. I really appreciate this, as I always do.
No problem, no problem. And our second guest out of Iowa, he's floating around at light heavyweight, cruiserweight, heavyweight. We're going to get into it. Bronze medalist in the Nationals in 2016. Got Tristan James, also known as Tree James. What's going on, Tree?
What's poppin'? What's good?
Ain't nothing, bro. On behalf of the channel, we appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to come rock with us today. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
No problem. For the people that do not know who you are, just introduce yourself. Just give them a little bit of your boxing background.
Okay, I started boxing when I was 22. Started boxing when I was 22. I didn't really know much. You know, actually, my best friend's uncle, you know, he kind of introduced me into the boxing world, and then I ended up migrating my way to an actual boxing gym. It got me my first fight. You know what I'm saying? I think I went 3-0 undefeated in the beginning. And then my fourth fight, my coach turned me straight to open, and I went right to the Golden Gloves open first year out. I lost that year. I lost the next year, and then I finally won my first Golden Glove title in 2013. And then after that, I won Golden Gloves for 3 years in a row. So I was Golden Glove champion 4 years in a row. I got the bronze medal in 2015. And then I also won ringside amateur world tournament in 2015, and I won the Chicago Power Glove tournament 2 years back to back in 2015 and 2016. And I participated in the Olympic trials too, so I got a little experience in the amateurs.
Okay. Now,
Very nice decoration. Very nice.
Yeah. Now, usually with boxers, it starts with the amateur background. And you ask any boxer about the amateurs, and they always have a story or two in the amateurs, or maybe a particular fighter. During your time as an amateur, are there any fights or any situations that really stood out to you in the amateurs? Like anything unique that just stood out?
Yeah, the 2015 year when I made it to the night before I made it to semifinals, I was fighting this guy from Kansas, Oklahoma, and for what my coach told me at the time, he told me that I was actually losing the fight. You know, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm killing the dude because I'm overwhelming him with punches and bunches, like a lot of punches. But I guess he was saying I was losing. So then third round came. He made the wrong move. I made a side step. I hit him to the uppercut, to the solar plex, to the body, dropped him, ran to the corner. Next thing you know, my whole team was like, go after him. You got him. And I took him out. And that was it. Made it to the semifinals. So I was like, man, I can't believe that. And then after the fight, that's when my coach told me, he was like, yeah, you was losing that fight. Even the referee said it to me the next day. He was like, yeah, you were losing that fight. But then out of nowhere, he just nonchalantly stepped to the side, popped him into the body, and then walked away like it was nothing. I was like, wow, I was shocked. I was just amazed that I was able to even do that. You know, sometimes I'd be amazed at some of the things I'm able to do in the ring.
Did you go back and watch that fight? The one they said you were losing?
Yeah, the crazy thing is a guy, he was recording it. You know, I didn't have a good phone at that time, and nobody was recording it, so I can't even go back and watch it. The memory's in my head. I remember it in my head, you know what I'm saying? But I can't see that particular round. Like, I had the first 2 rounds, but I don't have the 3rd round. That's the second round.
Oh man, that's the round of the knockout.
I know. I remember it in my head, though. I remember exactly how it happened, though. But I wish I could see it visually.
That's crazy. That is
Yeah.
crazy. Now, as a fighter, when you're, and always wanted to ask a fighter this, and it's crazy because I done interviewed quite a bit of fighters, and I ain't asked none of
Yes,
those
sir.
reactions.
Yes, sir.
Listen, when you come in the corner and your coach tell you that you're losing a fight, at that moment, do you believe them, or do you think it's just they capping?
The crazy thing is I believe everything he's telling me, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing that I've learned. I've learned in the game is to humble myself and to listen to your coach. You know, that's one thing that that year we learned too, is that our president for the Golden Gloves, he actually reached out to Roger Mayweather at that time, or was it Floyd Senior? It was actually Floyd Senior that year, because we was in Vegas at the Golden Gloves that year, and he reached out to him, and he actually sent a video all back to us and told us, like, what, you know, they asked him, like, what should you do? What is the most thing that you should do when you're in the ring? And he said you should always listen to your trainer and listen to your coach. So, yes, when they telling me that I'm losing a fight, then I need to step it up. I need to pick my game up. I need to do something.
Wow. Yeah, that's I always wanted to know that, because I've seen prominent trainers literally lie to their fighter and be like they losing the fight when they're clearly mopping the guy.
I've seen that too.
No, don't tell me that. That's one thing I learned. Like, if I'm getting my ass kicked, then you need to tell me right now so I can fix the problem. I don't want, you know, that like goes on the. I hate to bring it up. That's like the Deontay Wilder situation. Deontay Wilder is one of my favorite fighters at all. But the problem with that is that they never would. They let him stick to the right hand. They like, the right hand is your weapon. You know what I'm saying? You hit somebody with that right hand, they're flat out done. Problem is that he was relying on that right hand so much, and then that's what happened with Tyson Fury in his last fight. He was like, just keep going with the right hand, but it's not working. If it's not working, then you gotta fix it. You got to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, and that's something that every boxer needs to do. But, you know, at the same time, you do have to have the tools in the toolbox to be able to do that, you know, which makes boxing as a sport so interesting, because there's so many different things you can do in the ring, but it's physically, are you capable of doing them? And that's a whole different question, a whole different ball game. Now, with you having a pretty decorated background, as you explained, now, I'm pretty familiar with the Iowa scene, Chino Hill, Robert Calvin,
Cruz, Hitman Stewart.
Cruz, Hitman Stewart. All of those guys have had pretty good amateur backgrounds. Have you, I know you're familiar with them. Have you had any experiences with them as far as, like, amateurs, like before you guys went pro?
Yeah, me and Cruz, we went to Golden Gloves 2 years in a row together. And I actually fought Cruz one time in, was it 2016, and he beat me. He beat me in the amateurs. We fought with no headgear. Yeah, I'm very
headgear?
Yeah, yep. It was
wow.
Yep. So I've had a lot of experience with them. I'm not gonna say Chino and Robert. You know, me and Chino and Robert, we always get rounds in. We just got rounds in last Saturday, and I went 13 rounds straight with them.
Thank you for that as well.
13 rounds with them straight. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, as far as Cruz is concerned, because he's had about 400 amateur fights. How was that experience? And I know I know it had to have been a weight difference as well, because you pretty big.
Yeah, we Cruz definitely had me on the experience factor. I probably had him on the weight factor, like as far as size and length. I had more length on him, but experience kills a lot. You know what I'm saying? he's bred in the ring. You know, he knows where to move and how a person moves. You know what I'm saying? And he's a highly decorated amateur boxer. And he's doing really well in the pros right now too. So all salute to Cruz as far as that goes. But yeah, he had me on that. He had me on that fight. He did a real good job. He did a great job.
Why no headgear though, Tree?
What'd you say?
Why no headgear? Like that's like a pro fight.
We I guess they made it to where you can actually do that. Where you can if you have 10 or more fights and you're an elite boxer, you can actually fight with no headgear. And actually, me and T Woods, which I think you're doing an interview with him here soon.
Oh yeah, we just knocked that out. Shout out to T Woods as well.
Shout out to T Woods and everything he got going on for him in his camp. Yeah, me and him is actually the first ones in Iowa to do no headgear back in Muscatine, and that's when T Woods was weighing a little more than what he is now. He was a heavyweight. He started out as a heavyweight, you know, and then he started slimming up.
I never knew that.
More of his weight class, yeah. Yep.
Wow. And treated the good thing about having the amateur experience is it helps you when you get to the pros. Now I know you actually fought a guy that I know, Sim Killick. He fought Steven So Cold Nelson on the Jesse Hart Joe Smith card, and I was actually there for that fight. Now, just watching you as a fighter, you're 6'5", like you're a big guy, and you've been floating around between light heavy, cruiserweight, and heavyweight. As of right now, what weight class are you aiming for right now? Because that's a pretty big jump between 3 weight classes.
It is. It really is. But my weight class, my favorite particular weight class is going to be cruiserweight. I feel very comfortable. I feel like I'm very dominant in that weight class. When I went down to when I fought Tim Killers, I actually fought him at super middleweight. I was 168, and that wasn't good. That wasn't good at all for me because I looked all skinny and I looked frail. I didn't feel myself in the ring either. You know, it was a dramatic weight drop that I did. I just didn't feel myself because I felt like I hung in there with them well. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't. I had no ump on my punches. I couldn't really do what I wanted to do because I just didn't have it in me.
Effect of the weight cut.
Yeah.
Wow. So as far as right now, you're looking at cruiserweight.
Yep. I'm trying to cruiserweight. I'm trying to dominate, and I'm trying to be the unified champion at cruiserweight. Point blank. Period.
And you know the crazy thing about cruiserweight?
I love that goal.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a great thing because not every fighter is going to come out and say they had that goal. Some fighters, they just, you know.
I only want the WBC bill. I only want the IBF bill. I only want the WBC bill.
No.
Yeah.
I want all of them. I want all those belts. I want all of them. All of them.
Yeah. And treated the one good thing about being a cruiserweight, that's probably the only division in boxing where there's no politics involved. Like the guys that are supposed to fight each other, they end up fighting each other. It only happens at cruiserweight. Like every other division has some type of politics or promotional issues involved. Like cruiserweight's the only division where the top 7, 8 guys, they see each other at some point. And it's really an underrated division. It's really an underrated division.
It really is. A lady a long time ago told me about that. She said it's not very lucrative, so you have to kind of jump up and down from light heavy to heavy. Sometimes you have to fight heavyweight just to stay active. You know, but I particularly don't like fighting heavyweight sometimes because I have to gain. Sometimes I have to gain a little weight, but also those guys be like 230, 240, and 260. It's like I'm not gonna. I mean, I could outbox them all night long, but I mean, am I gonna put any damage on them, or am I gonna be able to stop them? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm trying to stop somebody. I'm trying to get somebody out of there.
Yeah. Now, as far as everything that you just explained, is light heavyweight still attainable for you in terms of actually getting down to 175?
If my management team wanted me to do it, and if we had a big opportunity to go for it, then yeah, definitely, I would definitely do it. If the opportunity, if the door is going to open up, if the door is going to open up, and it's going to bring better opportunities for me to get down to light heavyweight, and like they talking about like, yeah, we offer you a title fight at light heavyweight, then hell yeah, I'm go for it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bust my ass to get down there, and I'm gonna make it happen.
Right. Now, in terms of the weight classes, light, heavy, cruiserweight, is that something that you think about when it comes down to like your walk around weight? Like, do you have a certain number in mind in terms of your walk around weight? And I know that's a crazy question because when you get higher up in the weight classes, you know, weight is kind of less of an issue. But your situation is a little unique because you're floating between 175 and essentially 200.
Mm-hmm.
So is your walk around weight, is that an important factor for you? Just keeping yourself at a certain weight just in case you get a call for light heavyweight?
It is, but it isn't. You know, it is as far as like I say they did. If they did want to, if I thought that there was an opportunity of me going down to light heavyweight, then yeah, I would definitely have to watch my weight. But in particular, I'm not really worried about it because my management team, they already said that we're not going to aim for 175 right now. We're going to stay in like the 190s, 200 plus. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, most cruiserweights, they have to drop down from heavyweight, you know.
Correct.
So most of the time, yeah, I'm walking around maybe like 207, 208, and that's kind of surprising because I never used to walk around at that weight. I used to walk around for like 195. My last fight, I was 195 stepping in the ring, 195 literally. But you know, over the pandemic, I was able to gain a little bit of weight.
Right.
So
as everybody,
man, I think we all done gained a little weight. I
done gained some weight. I done gained a little bit of weight, but it's good though. You know, 'cause I was tired of walking around lighter than everybody else. You know, now I got a little ump behind me now, so it's cool. I can dig it. I like it.
Hey, Tree, I gained about 12 pounds in the pandemic, and I just hold the camera and the microphone, man.
Pandemic or yesterday was Taco Tuesday.
Oh, man. I know all about Taco Tuesday. That's
the pandemic.
That's all we got. All we got is tacos.
Yeah, the pandemic has been crazy. Has been really, really crazy.
Man.
As far as
insane.
yeah, it's really been crazy, Tree. Like it really has. As far as I know you mentioned your management team. Had they mentioned to you anything about a fight for any time this year? With the pandemic going on, I mean, everything's so fluid now. Had they had any talks with you about a potential fight?
Yeah, actually, yeah. We man, the crazy thing is that like it was kind of crazy how I met my management team. I met them through a mutual friend. She was like, yeah, you know, my dad and my grandpa, you know, they know a lot about boxing. You know, I'm like, oh, okay. So then this is how I knew she believed in my dream. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Amber Valencia. She literally called her dad, she called her grandpa, and said, okay, you know, what's his weight? And then she said her weight. He looked me up on BoxRec. He's like, well, this guy got to have something. He's fought nothing but top opponents. They're all undefeated. I mean, every single person that I've fought from the beginning of my pro career till now has all been undefeated. Not one person. You know, most people.
Oh, we get ready to get into that.
Yeah,
we get ready to get into that. I've done my homework. We get ready to get into that in a minute.
Yeah. So that was like, yeah, I mean, let's see what he got. So then they pretty much flew me out. She flew me out. She literally, out of her own money, out of her own pocket, she took me out to Arizona to meet her family. They took me to work me out to see if I could actually catch on to the stuff that they were trying to teach me. Took me to go spar this guy. They liked what they seen, and I've been dealing with them ever since then. And literally a month. Like I think I went strong and hard for 2-3 months That's right when the pandemic hit. We literally was about to have a fight, and then bam, pandemic hit and shut everything down.
So you haven't had a fight under your new management yet?
Nope. I'm just waiting. We're just sitting back waiting. I just been busting my butt at the gym every day, and we're just waiting for that call. That's it.
Now, you just mentioned it. I've watched some of your fights, but people usually just look at BoxRec just to get an idea.
Yeah.
I look at BoxRec to see what the competition was. And like you said, every single person you fought was either debut or undefeated. I think you faced one person it was a debut.
Yep.
And everybody else was undefeated. Now, you've obviously gone the tough route. A lot of people are fighting guys that are 2-30, 3-35, and when you look at some of the top fighters in the world, if you look at their first 10 fights, you'd be lucky to find one person that has a somewhat of a respectable record. With you fighting undefeated guys, do you feel like you're more built for the future? You're more built for right now because you feel like you're battle tested because you've gone up against so many undefeated fighters?
I actually do, and that's why, and that's kind of why I call myself the King of Iowa, because I didn't take the easy route. You know what I'm saying? I kind of went in there with it's kind of sucky. I went in there with the amateur mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll fight anybody. I don't care who they is, and I don't care what their record is. There was a guy that I fought. He told me, he's like, why would you get in there with Jim Killers? Why would you get in there with him, man? Do you know his record? I said, I don't care about what his record is, bro. I've been built to do this. Like, I'm getting in there with him one way or another. Sure enough, I took the L, but hey, it taught me a lot about myself. Like I was telling Mike the other day, I was telling him, man, I'm like a Saiyan, I'm Vegeta. When I lose, I come back 10 times harder.
That's exactly what you said, too.
10 times harder than what I did before. You'll see the dramatic change in me, like, all the time. So, yeah, I definitely feel like I'm built for the future. So if they try to throw somebody at me that's tough, I'm already ready for them. I've been ready for them. Because I've already 8 fights in. I fought everybody already.
Right. And the thing with the new management, hopefully they'll be able to get you some opportunities where you can actually get some guys, get a couple victories under your belt, and basically go from there. Because it's not a good thing to just keep on fighting undefeated guy after undefeated guy. Like, I feel like each fight, every fighter needs to be built up to a certain extent. And that comes with, opponents that you would consider beatable guys or quote unquote soft touches. And it's all about building experience, building, just confidence in yourself inside of the ring. Because even though you're fighting tough guys, you want to have some success as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So is that something that your management understands, even though you're, I know that's going to be your first fight with them, but is that something that they understand going forward, like starting to build you up, like you've been past the tough opponent stage, like early in your career? And I respect that a lot because not very many people are willing to do that. So off top, we respect that. But as a fighter, you want to be built as well. So is that something that your management already understands? Do you feel like that's something, you guys are just going to have to map out, or you're just going to kind of just play it how it goes?
Nope, they actually understand. They quite understand all of that. They already know that they're trying to build me up, get a couple victories under my belt, and then we're going to try to step the game up after that. They know that I'm tough. They know I'll fight anybody I want to fight, you know what I'm saying? But definitely that is something that we're going to try to do. We're going to try to get, let's say, I don't know, easier opponent or an opponent maybe on the same level as me, versus me getting in there with somebody that's 14 and 15 and 0, that's already been built up and been doing 8, 9, 10 rounds. So, yeah, definitely that's what we're going to do. That's what we're leading towards.
Yeah, I'm glad you addressed that, because I talk to Mike about this all the time, because Mike's a manager that matchmaking is about 90% of the business.
Yeah.
A guy can be a okay fighter, but if he's matched up right, you can get him to 10-0 quick.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
You cause an upset as well.
Right.
Yep.
And then you have some guys that are really good, but they just need to be developed and brought along correctly, and sometimes they're put up against guys too early and they don't get that chance to really develop and become, who they're supposed to be. I mean, I think me personally being around gyms in Philly and Jersey and New York and everything, like some of the best fighters in the world, you don't know their names. You understand what I'm saying? When you go into the gym, that guy you don't know, that's the killer that everybody respects in that gym. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen going forward with you, especially at cruiserweight, because it sounds like you're going to settle down at cruiserweight. Your management is right now, and you kind of have just like almost like you've been through the things you've been through professionally, but now you have a clean slate, and now you can just cruise forward. Am I right on that?
Yeah, you're right. I got a clean slate. Definitely.
Now, as far as me watching you as a fighter, you move pretty good for a big man. You move pretty good.
He does, and he fires that left very nice too.
Move very well. When it seems like you have your skill set is of a smaller fighter, where you can move around the ring, use your boxing ability, things like that. Even in the amateurs, you're fighting that way. Is it hard for you to kind of define your style basically with your skill set, but then the fact that you're 6'5", like when you're in the ring, is it more about you adjusting to the opponent, or is it more about you just doing you inside of the ring? Do you ever find a conflict with yourself inside of the ring when it comes down to that stuff?
I used to, but not too much anymore. Now I just I kind of play a little feel out sometimes just to see what they got, and sometimes I used to actually see what their hardest punch was. They hit me with their hardest punch. Even my old coach Jerry Holman. Shout out to Jerry Holman.
Big shout out.
They would hit me. They would hit me with the hardest punch that they could throw, and they wouldn't do nothing to me. I would literally just, you know how when you get hit, you see the white light for a second, and you come back. And I look at them like, okay, that was a good one. And then after that, I'll take off on them, like, and then I just start going ham on them. That's it. Like, that's how it is. I don't. Most of the time, I don't have to readjust. Only time I have to readjust if they switch it up a little bit. But now, I just go. Like literally, my new coach now, Pepe Pena. Shout out to Pepe.
Big shout out to Coach Pepe. Can't wait for him to come down this weekend.
Coach Pepe.
Big shout out.
The way he got me training now is ridiculous. Like I have to throw punches and bunches, like way more than what I used to in the amateurs. Like Fred Thomas, he was telling me last week. Shout out to Fred.
Big shout out to Coach Fred. We're gonna get him on here as well.
Yeah, he's like, you are throwing punches and you are moving around like a lightweight right now. Like I wanted to get in the ring and spar with you, but now I'm looking at you. I'm like, I'm not getting in the ring with you no more. I was like, bro, that's what Coach got me on, man. He got me throwing punches like crazy now because I was always doing all those 4-rounders, and I was a slow starter in the beginning. I was always slow start, in the beginning, and then now it's like it's going right off the bat. There ain't no time to wait. Take off on them right now. Go ahead and dictate the pace, and let's see what happens.
Man, I want Coach to get a hold of Jay, man. Like, shout out to Coach Pepe. Can you holler at Jay for me, please? Get a couple sessions with him.
Yeah, letting them hands go is definitely a great thing, especially at the cruiserweight level, because the those guys, you know, the higher you get in weight, the less the punch output is. So if you're outworking guys, more than likely you're probably winning a round, especially at cruiserweight. Because a lot of those guys, I think the punch count may be about maybe on average maybe 40 to 45 punches a round.
Oh no, I'm throwing 100. I'm throwing 100 or more. We're not going to that. No.
Yeah, so that's something that's going to be very beneficial at cruiserweight for sure, and it's really just really sitting down on the shots as well, like not only throwing them but sitting down on them and just letting guys know that, like, hey, you gonna feel something with these punches as well. If you had to describe your boxing style, what would your boxing style be? How would you explain it?
Let's see. Man.
Did I stump him? Did I stump him? Hey, Mike, did I stump him?
I've been more of a guy that like the still style sort of. You know, like I'll mix up, I'll take different styles and I'll mesh them into mine. Like I like to bounce around and move around like Ali. And then I like Lomachenko's footwork, but I also like Terrence Crawford's coming forward and then just letting them hands fly. Like I match all those into one with Coach Pepe's Mexican style, and you got me. That's what you gonna get.
That's deep.
Yeah, and that's gonna be interesting to see going forward, just to see how you can implement that style at cruiserweight, because it's not a lot of guys that's really a lot of guys is really just throwing 2 shots at a time at cruiserweight. Maybe the top 2-3 guys in the division. Well, before Usyk went up to heavyweight, but Alexander Usyk, he was pretty active for the division in terms of punch output, but his counterpunching ability was elite, you know. So the cruiserweight division is the hot division to me. It's just it doesn't get the clamor it deserves, and it's always been like that. It's always been like that. I mean, James Toney had a run at cruiserweight for a while before. I mean, when he had his classic battles with Vasily Jarov, all those fights were at those fights were at cruiserweight, and they were classics. Evander Holyfield, great run at cruiserweight.
Yep, he definitely was. Evander Holyfield was. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, so I mean, cruiserweight is definitely a glamour division for the hardcore fan. Now, what's your plans going forward, Tree, in terms of fighting this year? What's the target? What's the target time for you as far as fighting this year?
We're hoping to at least get something within the next month or two, hopefully. Because what is it? July now. So yeah, hopefully in August. If nothing in August, definitely in September, we should have something, because I'm starting to notice stuff is starting to open up in a lot more. Because I did all my fights in the Midwest. I did them in Chicago, Minnesota, and here in Iowa at home.
I like that style.
So we're gonna we're pushing to go down to Arizona and possibly California. You know what I'm saying? And we're trying to get down there, because my management team is pretty well linked in with Top Rank. So we're gonna start out, you know, small little show, couple small shows, and then boost me up a little bit, and then try to get a hold of Top Rank, or at least have Top Rank looking at me. You know what I'm saying? And then they said, you know, maybe six, 7 fights, I could be in title contention. And I was like, I'm liking it. I'm liking every bit of it. I want
Hell yeah.
Where I don't have to work a full-time job anymore. All I do is train. I've been busting my butt for that forever. That's all I want to do, is I just want to train full-time. And I actually had the opportunity to go to Terrence Crawford's camp just last year for my fight in Sloan, Iowa, like a year ago. Hey, 2 weeks training with those guys it was like hell. I've never trained like that before in my life, man. And when I came back home, because we was in Colorado, when I came back home, I felt so good. I didn't get tired not once, not one time. I'm like, dang, why am I not tired right now? Like, what's going on? It was that elevation and training with world champions and kings. It's like, man, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's, training, some places and some training camps are game changers. When we interviewed Coach Rec, Robert Calvin, he told us about how he was in Philly, and he came back from Philly, being in the Philly gyms. And
shout out to Coach Rec.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Rec, and I think he said he jumped into the Golden Gloves after that, and he was wrecking shit. He was wrecking shit after he came back from Philly. Yeah, so that's huge. And is that something that you're looking to do in the future in terms of possibly getting to Terrence Crawford's camp or another prominent camp, especially since your management team does have a connection with Top Rank?
Yeah, and I'm definitely hoping so, because I think they're I don't know where it was. It might be Big Bear or something like that, but I think they got links up to another camp in the mountains somewhere where it's high elevation. So yeah, definitely. If Terrence and them was willing to invite me down there again to come to a camp, I would go. As long as my management is cool with it, I'm cool with it. Like, definitely. Because not working a full-time job just to train all day, I'll do it any day of the week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a life. In terms of being a boxer, that's a life changer. You know, being in that camp. Just whenever you can experience something on a world class level, it changes you, like, not only as a fighter but as a person, and it kind of just changes your whole outlook. Period. In terms of the sport of boxing, there's nothing like actually getting into a camp and you got world champions around you. Like, Terrence Crawford got one of the best camps in the country. And as far as your Top Rank point, Top Rank is calling people now.
Yeah, I know.
Top Rank is calling people right now for fights. They've had the cards on ESPN. They have another one tomorrow. And what's happening is they have a lot of people dropping out, you know, whether it's COVID or, you know, guys are just dropping out of fights. But Top Rank is calling pretty much any and everybody. So I'll tell you, like I tell everybody else, at this point, like guys like Top Rank and Golden Boy and all of them, they're calling people for opportunities. But the only thing is, they're like, well, will you be ready in 3 weeks? Can you fight in 3 weeks? Can you fight in a month? And that's the difference between, you know, back then and right now. So the ones that's already ready, they don't have to get ready. So if they get that call and they get that opportunity, they can just accept the opportunity and they know physically they're ready. It's really just about doing the homework. So I think every fighter is closer now, even though the COVID situation is crazy. I think a lot of fighters are going to get more opportunities now than they did before, because these big-time promotional companies, they're going to be making phone calls that they usually don't make.
That's deep. That's real deep. And it's also a good opportunity for, you know, fighters to get a lot of high-level, world-class experience, because coming in on the B side, you could be fighting, you know, a guy that's ranked in the top 25. But if you can get him up out of there, and that can put you, you know, leapfrog ahead in the rankings to get you that title shot for early 2021 or early 2022.
And these top rank cards, their first two fights on the card on the televised portion, they're 6-round fights. They're 6-round fights with guys that have 7 or 8 fights under their belt. Guys are 4-3, 5-2, and these guys are on ESPN in a 6-round fight, opening the card off. So that's
a great opportunity.
Yeah, so it's COVID, but it's opening up the doors for a lot of different people that under normal circumstances wouldn't get those opportunities. So as a fighter, Tree, I know that's something that that got to be motivating for you.
Yeah, that
for
is.
sure.
That's big motivation. That's big motivation. My eyes got big when you said that.
Yeah, and with your management having the top rank connection, they can actually confirm that. Because I know I'll talk to you about this off record, but I'll tell you off record who told me that Top Rank's calling. I know somebody personally that got calls from Top Rank for a couple of his fighters. So we can we can talk about that off record. But
they're definitely calling though. They definitely calling.
They are definitely calling. So Tree, is there anything that you want to tell your fans out there, just the boxing public, period, going forward?
Just stay tuned. Just stay tuned for your guy Tree James. Look out for him, King of Iowa, and just be confident in me because I'm coming, and I guarantee you that I'm gonna be the unified cruiserweight champion, and I won't stop until I make it. Real talk. I'm not gonna quit until that happens. Don't quit in me ever.
Yes, sir. Tree James. Tree, can you give them your social media, please?
Yeah, my social media is gonna be Tree James or Tristan Tree TUK 515 or my Instagram. I'm going to check my Instagram real quick. My Instagram is going to be KOIA, that's all lowercase, _515. Go like my page, follow my page. I appreciate all the love, y'all. I thank you so much, G5, for putting me linked up today. Most definitely. Mike, shout out to you for getting me the link up too.
Oh, it's all love, man. I definitely appreciate you coming through. Like, how you doing?
Always. You know, I'm gonna be up there. I'll be up there this Saturday. You already know what's up.
Hell yeah, I already know. You want to smoke with the Destroyer off top, right?
Right off top. I want the Destroyer right off the bat.
That's the Chino Hill for the listeners out there. Chino Hill.
Yeah, Pacino, I want you right off the bat.
Oh man,
you know how Destroyer is. He'll definitely beat you there. He definitely will.
And as tradition, for anybody been listening to G5Jefftv, you already know what's coming. Mr. Mike Patterson, would you like to give your social media, please?
As tradition has it, I am not on Facebook. I repeat, I am not on Facebook. I do not rock with Facebook. I do not support Facebook. I hate the fact that Instagram is owned by Facebook. That pisses me off to my core.
Damn, your hate deeply rooted, brother.
But y'all can find me on Instagram at MikePat09. You can find my fighter Jason Phillips under Jason Phillips 23. You can find all of our close colleagues and brothers in arms, Chino the Destroyer, Coach Rec, I believe he's REC Reckless, Coach D-Mac at D-Mac Attack, and the list goes on.
Yeah, Coach Fred.
Coach Fred, yes, he would be at Two-Face, and his brother would be at Two-Fist, or I might have that backwards. So don't quote me on that. Yeah, I do got it backwards. Travis is Two-Face, and Coach Fred is Two-Fist. He definitely be on there.
And D-Mac is Training Grounds.
Yep, D-Mac Attack Training Grounds.
Crew Stewart.
Oh, the Hitman.
Yeah,
y'all by now y'all already know where Hitman is at, man. He on everything, man. He got highlights all everywhere, but he definitely is on there as well. Crew Stewart, Hitman Boxing, and 1-2 Boxing as well.
1-2 Boxing, Young Hefe, T Woods.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Young Hefe, T Woods. He got one dropping as well.
Yes, and we're gonna have all the Tree social media in the description box of this video interview. So if you want to holler at him, you would definitely holler at him. And Tree, on behalf of the channel, we definitely appreciate you stopping through. When you get a fight, please holler at me so we can do another interview, just announce the fight, put basically your new fans on to what's going on with you so we can follow your every move going forward.
Okay, for sure. I appreciate it. And yes, I will be getting a hold of you as soon as I got a fight, man. Thank you.
No problem. On behalf of G5Jefftv, Tree James, Mike Patterson. We are out.